TexAgs Radio, right here on Sports Radio 1150 AM and 93.7 FM. The Zone.
You know how long I've been on ya. Since Prince was on Apollonia. Since OJ had isotone.
And welcome into TexAgs Radio, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers. I'm David Nuño. Good Thursday morning to you. So where does hoops go from here? They need some kind of postseason berth, right? Something. I'm not talking about the CBI, which I'm not even sure it's still around. It'd be great to see the NIT. Easier said than done. One win isn't going to change the way the season has gone, but it can lead to more victories and make us feel differently about this team when it's all said and done. So here's the schedule the rest of the way, just to kind of, they're at 16 wins. So they're on the road at Vandy. They can absolutely win that game. Can they win that game? Yes. Will they win that game? Of course, a different conversation. Vandy behind them in the standings. At home versus Georgia, the worst team in the SEC. Can they win that game? Yes. Can they lose that game? Obviously, but I think they win that game, right? On the road at Ole Miss, call it a tweener game, even though Ole Miss has lost a couple games. At home versus Bama. Okay, Bama's a top 25 team. It'd be great to get that one. And then at home versus Mississippi State. Could win if you're winning these other games, right? So just for the sake of argument or conversation, they go 3-2, 4-1. We're talking about either 8-10 season in the SEC or 9-9. If they get the 500, they could potentially, if you look at the way the standings are right now, a 500 team in the SEC is like 7th or 8th. They could potentially be a 20-win team. So I throw that all out there to let you know that, yeah, the 8-game losing streak kind of changed the way we looked at this entire season. But it's not all for loss, especially with the way the schedule plays out the rest of the way. They've had some good parts of the schedule they didn't take advantage of. They need to do that now. A lot of what-ifs. We'll do that with my buddy Olin Buchanan, our Heisman Trophy voter, and my good buddy. What's going on, sir?
Yes, a lot of what-ifs with basketball. I think you could look at that remaining schedule and feel relatively confident that they could win more than they lose. Go 3-2.
3-2.
I think you could be maybe a little optimistic and say 4-1. Okay. And then I think you're like pumping the sunshine and wearing the maroon glasses and drinking maroon Kool-Aid to go 5-0.
But hold on. 5-0 is possible because
it is. I'm
not predicting that. I mean, they could lose the game to Georgia, right? But all these are winnable games because that's how. Other than what game was not winnable? South Carolina was winnable until the end.
Auburn.
Yeah, I guess in a way, in the second half, they were all games.
Auburn did not play well, and A&M had something to do with it, no doubt. But Auburn did not shoot well and still won by, a comfortable margin.
Yeah, that's the one game they didn't. But it's Auburn.
Yeah, that's number one team in the country, perhaps. A&M has to do what they do well. We all know that they gotta limit turnovers. They've got to limit offensive rebounds for the other team, but they absolutely have to start shooting at the 3-point line. You can't be shooting the way they are at the 3-point line.
What would be a nice number? 30%? I mean, that's still low, but better than they've been the last few games.
Gosh, better than they've been the last few games would be 20%. But I think to have a chance to win, you're looking around the 33%. And they were a team that was doing that easily for a while.
30% against Arkansas, against Kentucky, against, Tennessee, against South Carolina. I'm just throwing it out there. I don't remember the exact score on those games, but they shoot 30%. They probably win a couple of those games. Kentucky, they absolutely win if they shoot 30%.
Yeah,
was that the one of 18 or something like that?
Yeah, something like that. Maybe they got two. Maybe they got one later. It's like 2 of 21, something like that. But, that was abysmal. So, and then lately, the last two games, I think they've been around less than 15% of that. Is that right?
Yep.
So, that will, to me, you got to win in your last game despite shooting really poorly. And I just don't think you can count on that happening again. You could if you're dominant inside.
Sure.
But they're not. So
Yeah, I 100% agree with you. But again, the what ifs, if they are able, and let's just call it 3-2, right? That gives them 19 wins heading into the SEC tournament. They'll be just below 500. I think they'll be 8-10 if that's the case, right? Am I right about that? 19 and
well, right now they're what? They're 5-8 right now. So yeah, 3 more wins to get them 8-10.
Okay, 8-10, and 3 more wins puts them at 19 wins on the year. Maybe you get a victory in the SEC tournament opening round. Maybe not. Just saying. 19 wins after what they went through. Yes, they got the 15 very early with an easier schedule, but considering where they were just a couple days ago, I'd say, all right, you go into the offseason feeling much better than the lowest point during that losing streak.
Well, what if they go 5-0, which means you would have closed 6-0, which means
then they go to the NIT?
I would think so.
Yeah, I think they'd go to the NIT. And the NIT typically doesn't take that many teams, Power 5 schools, right? I think like maybe 1 or 2 teams from the SEC will make it, is what I've read.
I have to admit I haven't followed the NIT closely enough to understand what their track record is on teams they invite.
But if they get 19, 20 wins this year and get close to 500, or hopefully be 500, I think they're going to be a very strong candidate for some kind of nice postseason berth. And no, I don't think the NCAA tournament, unless they went on an amazing run to finish out here and then also get to the championship game of the SEC tournament, would be the only way after having an 8-game losing streak in the middle of SEC play. But I don't care about that. I'm talking more about getting this team more reps, more games for what next year could be a defining year for where the program is.
Yeah. The thing about it is you wonder with just college sports the way it is, and some guys can stay and some can't. You wonder who all will be on the team next year. I mean, I know you can't just transfer again and play immediately. I understand. But just the way things change now in college sports, you just wonder who's going to be on your team. And who's not. I mean, your whole team the whole complexion of your team could change dramatically.
Yeah. Let's go around and say hello to everybody. Let's go behind the glass, which is actually a door. Dalton Hughes. Good morning, sir.
Yeah, still no glass. You haven't installed that window you told me you were going to take the time to do. I guess that means you're still doing construction on your own house?
Tool time. You know it, buddy.
Oh, yeah. We should change the name to the Go Hour to Tool Time. You are right.
Ooh.
By the way, I know you didn't talk about this on the air, so forgive me if it's going to embarrass you or make you angry, but has there been a
resolution?
Has there been a break in the case of the yard case?
Well, let's just say that I know influential people in this company that have influential friends in this company, and yes, we've been approached about fixing said operation. So everybody knows they were building a home next to our house, and somehow our lawn caught on fire because they were cutting concrete or whatever they're doing, rebar, and they didn't tell us about it. So we woke up the next morning. I got to work. My wife called me. Our lawn is half burnt away. So, of course, snapback Nuño starts making phone calls, and it looks like it'll be resolved.
Good.
They did not deny doing it. So all good. It was an accident. I just wish they would have told me.
I see. Yeah, they probably let's see if they don't notice.
Yeah,
I saw pictures where there was no way you wouldn't notice.
Well, there's cameras all over the neighborhood, so somebody would have noticed. But we'll get that fixed. Good. Let's say hello to Tomas Romo there in the News and Social Center. Tomas, ¿cómo estás?
Good morning, David. How you doing?
Look at the smile. You have really, ever since I started picking on you for being grumpy in the morning, you've kind of changed your disposition. I like it.
I think it's been the coffee. I've been drinking some coffee in the morning lately, or at least trying to give me a little pep in my step in the morning. So.
All right. So I found out earlier Sam gets about 6 hours of sleep. Who also works with Dalton behind the glass. How much sleep do you get?
Man, if I just go off of last night, probably like 5.
Yeah, that's not going to cut it when you're 45, just for the record. All right, let's get into the news and the headlines.
2 things for you. First off, Texas A&M softball topped Sam Houston 13-6. Aggie scored 13 runs, and it's the most scored by A&M since 2017 when the Maroon and White scored 16 runs against South Carolina. 3 Aggies recorded triples, making it the first time since February 13th, 2019, where A&M also registered 3 triples in one game.
I like it. Baseball, softball, things are better this year. They're going to be better. I feel it.
I believe that. And also, I think the time's coming, and it's coming very soon, where A&M is going to be championship caliber in everything.
We got it in track and field. I think we're heading that way in football. We are definitely headed that way in football. Baseball's on their way. Basketball's got to fix some things, but they're going to be fine. All right, what else you got for us, Tomas?
Aggies continued competition at SEC championships. The Texas A&M women's swimming and diving team saw multiple Aggies lower personal best times through the second day of competition at SEC championships at the Jones Aquatic Center Wednesday night. The Maroon and White currently sit in sixth with 236 points.
All right, Tomas, thank you very, very much. Back to basketball before we hit a break. We actually got a very busy show today. We had to flip-flop some schedules, so we're going to be joined by Aaron Torres here in a few minutes, and then Stephen McGee at 8:35. And then Schloss is going to join us once again. Zane's going to join me for that interview. Richard Zane, our baseball correspondent / beat writer. He'll be all over that. JB Moss calling at 9:35. 10 o'clock hour, Logan Lee and Tap Bentz for our basketball discussion, our little roundtable there, and then the New Fan Show brought to you by Girard Construction. That'll be here at 10:35. So we got a loaded show. But, OB, we got a text from Dale and Tabor, says the CBI, 3 wins, which is doable, gets us in the CBI, which is what we need for closure this season, practices for next season, and recruiting. Just get me some kind of postseason berth.
I don't like the CBI. I would even stay at. To me, I've said it before. I get in trouble, but I'm going to say it anyway. The CBI is like taking a hooker to the prom because you got to pay to go to the big dance to be in the CBA. So I think you're just to me, it's almost a disgrace to go to the CBA. Hey, I'll pay so I can play.
I see your point, but when you're such a young team, I think game experience is so valuable. Go get it.
You've just gotten finished up a 30 plus season of games, and 1 or 2 more games against other disappointing teams is going to make that much of a difference. I'm not buying it.
I think you get as much practice in games as you can warrant or you can get. All right, right now, Association of Former Students time. Love to chat about them. They've been doing it for such a long time. They're the oldest organization in support of that Aggie network, and you are a part of that Aggie network. You've helped them establish who they are, and because of your donations, your funds, and your help, they are here, they are there. They're everywhere. They're literally everywhere. You can go to any country. The association has helped out in some way, shape, or form. They've been doing it for such a long time. And as I read off the list of the ways you can help the association, help these organizations, you're going to be blown away. The Warrior Scholar Project. You've got the live streaming of music activities around concerts and campus, mental health programming, the Student Muster Committee, the Texas Aggie Band for Travel. It is those kind of donations that have helped make so many dreams possible for all these students and Aggies all around the country or all around the world. For $100 a year, you get the plaque, the decal, and the Texas Aggie magazine. We're talking about $9 a month, guys. Not expensive, and it just feels so good to give back to those in need. To learn more about the impact of the association, make a gift or get involved, visit aggienetwork.com/giving.
I'm Chelsea Reber with your community calendar on the zone, brought to you by Christine Engler at AggieLoanExpert.com. There's never been a better time for a cash-out refinance. NMLS 1309378 Equal Housing Opportunity. Stage Center Theater invites you to laugh along at Jeeves Takes a Bow. Performances run through Saturday. Tickets are available at stagecenter.net. Brazos Valley Friends of NRA invite you to their Supporter Appreciation Breakfast this Saturday at American Legion Post 159. The free pancake and sausage breakfast starts at 8. The VOOM Heart and Soul 5K is this Saturday at Texas A&M. This event will help raise funds to bring life-saving procedures to those in need in West Africa. Register at voomfoundation.org. This month, Aggies can reduce their library fines by donating non-perishable food items. Find out more about the Food for Fines program at the library Ask Us desks on campus. That's your community calendar, brought to you by Christine Engler at AggieLoanExpert.com. I'm Chelsea Reber on the Zone.
Grab your first cup of coffee weekday mornings with Keyshawn, J. Will, and Max, powered by WC Tractor, right here on 1150 AM and 93.7 FM. Plus, online at RadioAggieland.com. WC Tractor, your local award-winning Kubota in New Holland. Do you have questions? Look them up online at WCTractor.com. That's WCTractor.com. You can also call them at 1-888-8-TRACTOR. That's 1-888-8-TRACTOR. Keyshawn, J. Will, and Max, powered by WC Tractor.
Shop local, buy local, save big deals.
It's not every day you can save money. Oh, wait, you can. Hi, Jenny here from Big Deals. When you shop Big Deals, you'll save money every day on dozens of gift certificates from local businesses like these.
Nestle Toll House Cafe by Chip, Socorro's Second Chance Resale Shop, Superior Auto Service, and the Chocolate Gallery. Visit AggielandBigDeals.com to save big. AggielandBigDeals.com.
This is ESPN Radio.
James Robinson, Jacksonville Jaguars. What's up, big game, James?
What's up?
Defensive Player of the Year again.
WTJ Watt. I appreciate you guys having me on here.
Takeo Spikes, former All-Pro.
When they won the AFC Championship, I felt like I had been part of it.
San Francisco 49ers, Deebo Samuel.
Once the season started, I was in the best shape that I've ever been playing.
Rams Super Bowl winning head coach Dick Vermeil.
I said when he came out, he was the most accurate passer I've ever seen come out of college.
Pro Football Hall of Famer Isaac Bruce.
When you have a prolific season like Cooper Kupp, man, without a doubt, Offensive Player of the Year.
Ron Rivera, Washington Commanders head coach.
It took us a little bit to get used to the Washington football team, so now we're in the same situation again.
Michael Parsons joins us.
The light shouldn't affect you. You affect the lights. The lights is going to follow you. So if you're ready for the moment, it's up to you to take advantage of it.
Listen in to ESPN Radio, weeknights and weekends on Sports Radio, 1150 and 93.7 FM.
She was a waitress at the only joint in town. She had a reputation.
We are TexAgs Radio. We're presented by David Gardner's Jewelers. We're here in the Rollo Insurance Studio. If you want to be a part of the conversation, text us on the A&B text line, 979-693-1150. A&B, a College Station branch of the Amarillo National Bank. Good Texas Banking. The website is amb.com. Let's go to the BCSI hotline. We're joined by Aaron Torres of Aaron Torres Online and, of course, Fox Sports Radio. Aaron, good morning, sir. This is kind of weird to have you this early.
No, it is. It is. You know, I'm not camera ready right now. I don't even think the sun is really out yet here in California. But, you know, I got to ask, I remember the buzz around the Schloss hire in the spring. And, you know, as a guy who follows college baseball religiously for about 10 days a year, how are the Aggies looking this year? Are we excited about year one of the Schloss era? What's going on here?
I think we're super excited for a couple of things. Look, it's going to be a process. It's going to take a couple of years, but they've had some great transfers come in, the direction of the program. And I'll tell you what, the biggest comparison I can give you is the one that Billy, I think, made initially when they made the hire, and others have made sense. This is like a Jimbo Fisher hire for the program, and he's going to get the right players and the right resources and get this program back where it needs to be and beyond. Obi, you echo that?
I do, but I don't know
what's up, man?
Hey, how you doing, Aaron? Thank you for getting up at 6:30 your time.
It's my pleasure. I didn't even know you were on the extra treat. But go ahead, continue. I'm sorry. I'm all yours.
I don't know how much you know about A&M, but baseball is the second most popular sport here. So there's always quite a bit of excitement around the beginning of the season, but I think there's more intrigue. I don't want to say optimism, but there's more intrigue because they feel like they've got a better coach that's taken a different approach than they've had for a while. And they've they brought in guys from major programs as opposed to bringing in guys from junior colleges. And so there's a lot of intrigue of how it's going to work out this first year.
Real quick, is the baseball portal as buzzing and active and talked about as obviously not more talked about, but is it as buzzing and active and some might say controversial? I don't really care one way or the other, but is it as much of a resource for baseball coaches as it is football and basketball coaches too?
It had to be this year for buzz.
I would say that Schlossnagle has used it more than anybody.
Yeah, he's used it, got quite a few guys, but I don't think that's his long-term plan, right? I think in today's college sports world, you have to use it when it's available to you, but he is certainly focusing a lot of his recruiting and getting the young talent from Texas here at A&M. Hey, Aaron, I was going to ask you, is it like Happy New Year when it comes to talking about the Super Bowl? Like, we're a few days removed from the Super Bowl, but can we still talk about it? Is it allowed? Like, Happy New Year after January 10th? I don't know if you can still do it.
Yeah, I think if you're in L.A., you can.
No, okay. I mean, well, yeah. First of all, no. I listen. I think the NFL you can talk about pretty much any time of year. Mm-hmm. I do find it's funny. I was thinking about this. They say the NFL is a 365-day a year sport. Like, I feel like increasingly college football is becoming that, and college basketball too. As I know, A&M football is a 365-day a year topic, but even just with the Caleb Williams stuff, with the Jim Harbaugh stuff, it's amazing that it was like the middle of February and there was still real college football stuff to talk about. But as far as the Super Bowl, yeah, I mean, and I think, like, to me, and maybe it's because I live out here, maybe it's because I host, Fox Sports Radio and I have to talk about it. I'm probably going to talk about it this weekend, but like, I think there's some interesting storylines that came out of it. Like, I don't know if you guys, I know it's a sort of Texas story with his background, but like the Matthew Stafford story is interesting to me. Like, I woke up on Monday and I didn't really feel all that differently about him. Like, he didn't really play that well on Sunday. And then all of a sudden it was like, oh my goodness, well, this proves he's a Hall of Famer. And I'm like, did it? Like, they were like, he had one good drive and Cooper Kupp converted the fourth down by himself. And I don't know. I find like there was a lot of intrigue coming out of it. Now, I think some of the intrigue is made up. I don't think Sean McVay's retiring. I think he's just looking for a big fat contract extension. I don't think Aaron Donald is retiring. So to answer your question, David, I think we could still talk Super Bowl. If you want to talk about third down and this and that, we could go whichever direction you want. But I don't think it's too late to talk Super Bowl. If this was like April 11th and you're like, so how about that Cooper Kupp? I mean, I might feel a little bit differently, but no, we can talk as much Super Bowl as you want, man. Let's do it.
Well, I do want to, because I didn't see it, but I saw social media, and apparently there was like 12 fans at the Rams celebration yesterday. Was it really? I mean, I know there was more than 12, maybe 15, but was it really that dead of a crowd?
So I don't know. I wasn't there myself, and I've seen different things, but then I saw Arash Markazi just from, he's worked in LA forever. He put out a tweet and a video that looked like there was a lot of people there. So I don't know. What I've said is I went to the season opener at SoFi Stadium when they played the Bears on Sunday Night Football. And I was like genuinely surprised by how many people seem to be passionate about the Rams and Rams football. And it's funny, like, as it pertained to college football, I kind of said at the time, because it was ironic. It was right around the time that they fired Clay Helton at USC that I said, like, look, if USC screws up this coaching hire, like this NFL thing, like people are moving in the direction of the NFL faster than I thought. And if USC doesn't knock out this hire, then I worry about the future of that program and whether they're going to lose a part of that fan base forever. They obviously did take care of the hire. They got the best coach they could have possibly gotten in Lincoln Riley. But I just bring it up because, I do think the NFL is bigger in LA than I thought it would be. And maybe it's because the Rams were here 25 years ago or whatever, and people have parents or grandparents that remember. But I also can't lie. I mean, I saw a lot of the same videos that everybody else did, and it did not seem as though the parade was super well attended, but then I saw other videos that made it look like it was much more well attended than you would have thought. So I really don't know, David. It's weird. It seems like people are excited here, but yeah, I saw a lot of those videos, and I can't defend the city if some of those videos were as bad as they look.
It's probably had a huge crowd that intended to be there, but they all got stuck in traffic. Based on my experience in Los Angeles.
Times, man. You've seen it all. You've seen it. You know how it goes out here.
Hey, Aaron, I do want to localize a little bit, talk A&M basketball, because there's a win to talk about after that 8-game losing streak.
Yeah.
And I started the show with, look, I don't know what this team's going to do the rest of the way, because they can lose all these games. They can win a handful of them. But with the 8-game losing streak behind them now, hopefully, and 5 games left, they can still potentially win 20 games this season. So what does that mean for this team after what they were like last year and what they went through here just for the last month, to be able to still somehow rebound and maybe win, 4 of the next 5 games, 3 out of the next 5 games?
Well, I know, especially, we just talked about it with baseball and, the process with the transfer portal is that, nobody wants to hear about rebuilding and this and that, especially not in this era, and especially coming off an 8-game losing streak. I would tend to think I would still give Buzz Williams the benefit of the doubt because of what he has done in other places. And I could be wrong on this, but listen, first of all, there's the COVID year, and people don't want to hear it as an excuse, but it did screw up a lot of things, right? And obviously A&M had to deal with weather situations that made it even worse. And so last year was just a disaster for the program in every single way that it could be. I know a lot of people are kind of selling their Buzz stock right now. I get it. I get the frustration. What I would also say is, like, the gift and the curse of the portal is, like, none of those, like the core that you have right now, Henry Coleman, Marcus Williams, those guys are going to be back. They're not good enough to lead for the professional ranks. Can't transfer again. And I think that's why, frankly, a lot of these coaches elected to hit the portal so hard last summer was because it was like, well, crap, man, we can recruit these high school kids and try to develop them and do this and do that, but they could bounce if they're not happy. Once you get a portal kid, they're kind of stuck with you for a while because obviously they can't transfer a second time. And so that's where I would stick with this, David, is I continue to just say, like, Buzz Williams has a track record that speaks for itself. I can't guarantee that it's going to be the same at Texas A&M. I understand the frustration, but what I would also say is I still believe in him. I still go back to that first year where he won SEC Coach of the Year. They won 10 SEC games. This year they were looking much more like that team before, obviously, they hit a tough stretch of the season. And there are some losses in there that are inexcusable. Losing to South Carolina at home is inexcusable. Losing to LSU, I don't want to call inexcusable, but with the way that they were playing at the time, you can understand the frustration there. But as you said, you kind of look at the back half of this schedule. A lot of the toughest games are behind them. Now there's some winnable games. And so, one, he gets the momentum going into the SEC tournament. Maybe he can steal a game there. And two, I just look at, one, Buzz's track record, but then two, I go back to what I said a minute ago. When you get kids out of the transfer portal, they can't go anywhere. So while it's been a frustrating process, you get at least 1-2 more years out of Henry Coleman, another 2 years out of Marcus Williams, guys like that. And so that's where I think you have a little positivity, and you kind of know what your roster is going to look like going into next year.
But you hold your breath on some of the younger guys that still can transfer because, last year you had Jackson Robinson, and he was here a year and left. You had the guy who's been here a couple of years who went to TCU, Emmanuel Miller.
Right.
So the guys who haven't transferred yet, you still got to hold your breath on. I'm not saying that I've heard anything.
Isn't it crazy?
Yeah.
Hey, AT, we got about 30 seconds left. Tell us a little bit about your Sean Miller interview.
Oh, Coach Miller was great, man. And I'll just be quick. So, the FBI stuff happened 5 years ago. But the reason I bring it up is because there's a lot of guys that one are still coaching. Bruce Pearl gets a lifetime contract. But with Sean Miller, I've always kind of, empathized with him to some degree because there's some stuff that came out about him during that time frame that simply isn't true. It's been proven to be not true in a court of law that I think that the general public still believes is true. So this was kind of his first sit-down interview. I've to a degree defended him. There's some things that are indefensible, but this was his first sit-down interview that he's really done. I really enjoyed speaking with him, and he's going to be a guy. I mean, if Bruce Pearl can get a lifetime extension, somebody's going to scoop this guy up. 7 Sweet 16s, 4 Elite 8s in his career. Curious to see where he lands next. Don't know if it'll be this year, next year, whatever. But it's going to be intriguing, really fun interview. And I think, if you're just looking for a little college hoops content, I think you'll learn some stuff about him that you probably don't know just in terms of all the FBI stuff that you think you know. So I encourage people to check it out if they can.
Appreciate you, AT. Thanks so much, man.
All right. Thanks, fellas. Have a great morning.
You too. Aaron Torres there, Fox Sports Radio, and Aaron Torres Online. Always gets great interviews on there, all the top college coaches. Guys, you need to experience the difference there with Caprock Health System, patient-centered care. Bronny told us a story yesterday. He had to go, and he was taken care of real quick. And I think that is something you really need to think about. Like, sometimes you go to the emergency room, and you're waiting, and, let's go. And from all indications of people I've talked to, they go in there, they go in and out. It's quick, right? Their whole purpose is to make you feel better. They are patient-centered care. Their whole thing is when you get in there, they're going to make sure that you feel better while you're there, and when you go home, feeling much, much better. They've got Caprock Hospital in Bryan and Caprock 24-hour emergency center there in College Station. They have 0 wait times for emergency care, so you'll never have to sit in a crowded waiting room. The hospital and the ER both have a clean and sterile, safe environment. They want to make sure that they take care of all your medical emergency needs. Go check them out. They're Caprock Health.
The show sounds different, but it's still TexAgs. It's TexAgs Radio with David Nuño on the Zone.
If you have a debit card, you're used to spending money. But what if your card actually ended up earning you money? That's not exactly normal, but that's what you can get at A&B. It's called Kasasa Cashback Checking. Don't mind the weird name. What you need to know is that it's a free account with cash reward. Use your debit card for everyday purchases, and we'll pay you cash back every month. If that doesn't sound like normal banking, well, guess what? We're not a normal bank. So contact A&B today and ask for Kasasa or visit ANB.com. Equal housing lender, member FDIC.
Growing up in the Brazos Valley, John Harvey Slocum saw firsthand why our region is special. His dad taught him that hard work and doing the right thing always pays off. That's why he built a business here and is raising his kids here. Creating jobs in the Brazos Valley while protecting our quality of life is his passion. And as our next state representative, he will take those values to Austin and fight every day to keep property taxes low so Texans are never forced out of their homes, secure our borders, back the blue, and bring access to 21st century jobs to the Brazos Valley so we can stay Texas strong. We need a new leader for Bryan College Station. Let's elect John Harvey Slocum as our next state representative.
I am John Harvey Slocum. I want to go to work for you to keep Texas strong.
Paid for by John Harvey Slocum Campaign.
My name is Bobby. I'm a veteran and lost my leg to a roadside bomb. My victory was going from a wheelchair to becoming a weightlifting champion.
I'm Sam. I'm a veteran. My victory was finding a career I can be proud of and supporting my family.
America's veterans are on their most important tour, the tour of their lives.
I'm a veteran. My victory was going from homeless to home.
At DAV, we're on a mission to help veterans get the benefits they've earned.
I'm a veteran, and my victory was finishing my education.
DAV offers veterans of all generations a lifetime of support for victories great and small.
My victory was proving that disability is not a limitation.
My victory was getting my service dog a new best friend.
We help more than 1 million veterans every year as they face and conquer their challenges.
My victory is being able to be there for my family.
When America's veterans win, we all win. Help us support more victories for veterans. Go to DAV.org.
Would you like to win a pair of tickets to see Journey in concert? It's Rodeo Monday on the Louis Bellina Show, thanks to Catalina Hatters and Texas Rose Boutique. Every Monday, listen for me to play a Journey song. When you hear the music play, open arms, don't stop believing. When you hear Journey play on the Louis Bellina Show, be caller number 11, and you win a pair of tickets to see Journey at the Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo. It's every Monday on the Louis Bellina Show, Rodeo Monday, thanks to Texas Rose Boutique and Catalina Hatters.
Every Mafia movie ever? I mean, I know it, but I don't know if I know it. It's definitely in either Casino or one of those movies. Yeah, it's great. What movie is that in? You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah. Could it be Goodfellas?
It might be Goodfellas. It's fantastic, though, of course. Mafia songs, the soundtrack to my life, along with Batman.
Isn't that Leonard Skinner?
No.
Freebird? That's not Freebird?
No. Is it?
Thought it was.
I don't know. I don't know people. Stephen McGee knows people. He's here on the BCS hotline.
He knows a lot of people.
Good morning to you, Stephen.
I know people. I don't know music. I think we discussed this last week. Obi, is that not Leonard? I think you're right on that one.
I think that's Freebird.
I mean, I'm sure it is.
If I
could go back to
at the thought of it.
If I could go back to sophomore in high school, Olin, I guarantee I would know.
Hey, yeah. Stephen, how cool was it to watch A&M all over the stage this past weekend and Vaughn do his thing?
Oh, I love it. You know, Vaughn is one of the great Aggies of all time. He's not only a great player on the field, but his story's awesome. was fortunate to get to play with him for a couple years, and I saw his maturity. It was amazing. And then just to see him represent now, he's such a good ambassador for the Aggie brand, and it's just good to see good people win.
So you played with Vaughn. I forgot. What was he like? You said you watched him mature. What was he like as a teammate when you were teammates?
Yeah, I crossed over obviously for 2 years when he was younger, and so there were some issues, I think maturity wise. He just wasn't the same player he was as a junior and a senior, and I think a light bulb went off, and he got serious about his craft, and that talent started to come out, and obviously the rest is history. But he didn't come in like, let's say, Myles Garrett and be a All-American type talent day one. He was, I'm not saying he was just another guy, but he was a talented guy that hadn't proven that he was that starter caliber player in the Big 12. And boy, did that ever change quick.
Sure did. Stephen McGee with us here on TexAgs Radio, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers in the Rollo Insurance Studio. All right, so this is just more because there's speculation out there the way these guys are talking about it, but Aaron Donald and Sean McVay, there is no way they're going to retire, right, or move on from coaching. He's like 35 years old, or whatever he is. This is not going to happen, right, Stephen?
I don't know Sean at all, obviously. Who knows? It would be bizarre, but nowadays, man, it's hard to rule out anything. I understand Aaron Donald. He's accomplished a lot. He's a great football player. Some of these guys want to retire a little bit earlier to preserve their health after football, and that makes sense. But for a coach, is he married with kids or anything? Is there a reason why he would want to get away from the game? I understand from a time perspective, you want to focus on family, but to your point, age 35 seems very young.
I think he's engaged, and his fiance posted there's no way he's retiring. So, I think it's more maybe negotiate. It's kind of like Harbaugh, except not as kind of weird to the whole situation, but just trying to get some more money.
Which I find odd. Your team, you just became the Super Bowl winning coach. Why would you have to try to pull that for leverage? Your leverage is you just won the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe it just gives them a sense of urgency to up the deal now and not wait.
Steve, I don't know if you saw, but I guess the Big Ten is talking. Their commissioner came out saying they're still in favor of a 9-game conference schedule. What would you like to see from the SEC when things shake out? There's still so many question marks out there. There's a chance that the conference doesn't even have divisions; they'll have pods, but just one straight conference. Any thoughts on what they should do or what you'd like to see done?
I haven't thought a lot of detail about it. Obviously, there's some really cool matchups. You'd like to see A&M get to play a lot of those other teams more often, right, in the East. And so if there's a smaller pod per se that you play every year, let's call it 4 teams, and then you get to rotate all the other schools. I just hope that we don't get stuck with Mississippi State. I mean, I know that would be a team that would be favorable from a winning perspective compared to some of the other SEC schools, but going to Starkville is just not an attractive trip for an Aggie fan. And so obviously getting Texas in there every year would be really neat in Oklahoma, because those are some old school matchups that we've played historically. And then a good, one of the other good teams in the South that's pretty close to us, maybe it's LSU, and then rotate the rest of them. I think that would be pretty neat. But again, I know there's a lot at play there, and I don't pretend to understand all the details.
I wonder this, as a player, would you rather, and I'm talking about now, I can't remember exactly how they scheduled when you were actually playing, but as a player, would you rather play 9 conference games or 8 conference games into 4 non-conference? I just wonder how you guys feel about it when you're playing a team in non-conference that you're going to beat as soon as you lace up your cleats.
Yeah, it's a great question. I don't know, from a player's perspective, I don't think we pay much mind to it. It's just like the next team up type mentality. But from a coaching's perspective, even though they act like they don't, I think it's very important. I like the 8 and the 4 for an SEC team, because there's no lack of credibility. If you're on the fringe as a 1-loss team trying to get into the BCS playoff, if you come out of the SEC, you're gonna get the odds-on move in. Now, I know it hasn't always worked out that way for A&M, go back 2 years, but I think big picture, having those 4 weaker non-conference games helps us from an injury perspective get healthy. I mean, they do play a vital role. You get young guys reps. There's a lot of benefit there, even though monetarily speaking and from a fan's perspective, it's not ideal to host Louisiana Lafayette compared to, let's say, an additional SEC East school. I understand that, but in my opinion, I like having some softballs mixed in there so that your team is ready to go, because it's physical in the SEC. You're going to have injuries, and that helps having, if a guy needs to get a week off, he can do it.
Stephen, Fox Sports has this column out there that talks about the best players to never win a Heisman. I think number 4 or 5 on the list was VY, a guy you played against. Who's the best player that you ever played with at any level?
Played with at A&M. I've talked at length about this. Fact, Gerard Johnson was in town. Oh, heck, when was that? The golf Letterman's tournament, whatever that was, a year ago. And we were laughing about this very conversation. Both were talking about how great Mike Goodson was. And this dude doesn't get near enough credit for how great of a player he was. I'm telling you, man, the guy was something else. He was a unique player. And at A&M, he's up there with the most talented players I ever played with. Vaughn, certainly I could say I played with him, but I didn't play with Vaughn in his great years. Ryan Tannehill was always a very talented player, but I put Mike Goodson up there in the very top echelon. And I've told OB this a million times before on radio. He's heard me rave about Jason Witten, and he wasn't the most talented player. So don't hear that wrong. I think DeMarcus Ware was the most talented player I've ever played with at any level. He's just a physical specimen. His approach and every facet was amazing. But Jason Witten, his professionalism, his toughness, his day in, day out, the consistency. To me, the difference between good and great is consistency. And Jason Witten defines consistency. And it really, I learned a lot from him that I hold on to today that makes a difference in my life now, not just as a player, right? I mean, his approach was right. To me, it's all about the process, and most great players have it.
Who's the best defensive player you ever played against?
Ooh.
Somebody that sticks out in your mind.
Well, I can tell you there's a whole bunch of them at Texas and Oklahoma. At A&M, Arakpo, I felt like we could never block that guy. He was, looked like Shrek over there, built 100% muscle, and, they could all run. With a safety, Michael Griffin, he was a great athlete at Texas. I think he about knocked my head off one time. And I always remember those guys. Specifically, I feel like at Texas, they had some great defensive standouts during that run, in the early 2000s.
Hey, Stephen, you stick around. We'll come back with you and do That's Bullcrap here next on TexAgs Radio. Right now, I want to talk about Christine Engler, the Aggie loan expert. She's been with TexAgs here for a few weeks now, but she's been an Aggie forever, right? Class of 97, loves this great university. Her husband went to school here. She brought her business here to the area to give you guys great rates and great customer service. And it's a crazy market out there, so you've got to take advantage of it. Other lenders are taking a long time to close. We're talking months to close for several people. But in this competitive environment, that you got different scenarios to go with, and Christine's got those out there. Her team offers very, very low rates and on-time closings, streamlined digital mortgage technology, and customer service that nobody can match. That I can guarantee you. She's got a pre-approval from the Aggie loan expert that will be backed by her 21-day closing guarantee. Think about that, 21-day closing guarantee. To get it started, visit AggieLoanExpert.com. You're going to love the experience. You're going to love Christine. She's great. Terms and conditions do apply. Christine Engler, the Aggie loan expert. NMLS number 1309378. Company NMLS number 1324641. Equal housing opportunity.
I'm Chelsea Reber with your community calendar on the zone, brought to you by Christine Engler at AggieLoanExpert.com. Get pre-approved today with a 5-minute loan approval. NMLS 1309378, equal housing opportunity. The second annual Hope for Hospice 5K is Saturday, March 5th at Wolfpen Creek. Proceeds benefit the Alumine Hospice Foundation. Visit aluminehealth.com to register. Blinn Theater Troupe presents Tigers Be Still. Performances run February 23rd through March 4th. Purchase tickets online at blinn.edu/box office. The Alzheimer's Foundation of America is hosting a free virtual conference for Texas residents on Wednesday, March 9th. Attendees will learn about healthy aging, a variety of Alzheimer's-related topics, and more. Visit alzfdn.org for more information. That's your community calendar, brought to you by Christine Engler at AggieLoanExpert.com. I'm Chelsea Reber on The Zone.
For service you can trust and a job done right the first time, contact Tom Line Plumbing and Irrigation. Whether it's commercial or residential, new construction or service, they have you covered. Tom and Shelby Line have been serving the Brazos Valley for 11 years, and their team of plumbers have more than 40 years of experience. Customer service is their highest priority. Trust your every plumbing need to Tom Line Plumbing and Irrigation. Click TomLynePlumbing.com today.
The association, because they support so many different things and they are involved, as a student you feel like you have somebody in your corner.
We know that Alfredo's family has never seen him march live at Kyle Field. With the help of the Association of Former Students, we're going to end that today. Alfredo's family is here with us.
To the Association of Former Students, I don't know how much I can thank you enough for giving me hope that for anything that goes wrong, something good is going to happen out of it. Whatever they do for the school, it's always going to come out with a smile on someone else's face.
To learn more about the association's impact or to make a gift, visit tx.ag/giving.
Keyshawn Johnson, Jay Williams, and Max Kellerman.
One of the reasons you reach for Jordan Love is because someone in your front office has identified him as the next big thing. You don't reach for a quarterback in the first round if you have Aaron Rodgers. You don't grab that guy unless you think he has a chance to be great. And I think what they found out is actually we don't think he's going to be great.
Listen in to Key, J. Will, and Max, powered by WC Tractor from 5 to 8 on The Zone.
Buddy, you're a boy, make a big noise, playing in the street, gonna be a big man someday. You got mud.
This is Queen, OB. I know Queen.
Good job.
Thank you very much. But everybody was wrong on the show earlier, including Stephen McGee, but that's okay. We don't know music. Several text messages came in. Earlier, the song was Freebird, and it was in the movie Dazed and Confused. That's Freebird, says JM in CS. TexAgs in...
That's what I said.
Oh, is that what we said?
Yeah, Leonard Skinner. Yeah, it's Freebird.
See, there you go. I can't put two and two together. I didn't know Leonard Skinner was Freebird. I just thought Leonard Skinner was Leonard Skinner. It'd be like me saying to you, do you know Tupac is Death Row Records?
You know Leonard Skinner is not a person, right?
It's a group.
Yeah.
So who's
Freebird is the song.
Freebird's the song.
That's the
My goodness.
It's not the restaurant?
My head hurts. Welcome back to Head Wound Radio.
You know what? Just for that, we're going to do Tupac Radio the rest of the show. Stephen McGee with us on the BCSI hotline. Hey, Stephen, one thing I didn't get with you earlier that I wanted to get into was the Anais Smith situation here. He's coming back. What kind of impact can he have? Because we know how good he can be. The numbers last year weren't there, partially, I think, because of the way the offense had to be run with the injury to Haynes King. What kind of impact can Anais have with another year in this offense?
Oh, huge. And we know how difficult it is to play in Jimbo's system at all positions, but especially at wide receiver. Everyone's going to talk about all the new young talent coming in, but I just don't see those guys getting on the field early. It just hasn't ever happened in Jimbo's career. And so you're going to lean on the veterans. And Anais is the one consistent difference maker that we've had at that position. And, you know, his experience and understanding of the system, there should be no lacking of understanding from him. And for, you know, him and Haynes to be on the same position, he's a consistent mismatch threat inside in the slot. And then we've also seen him line up outside. So that's going to be huge for A&M. And I think outside of him, it's going to be finding a tight end. You know, who's that primary go-to guy? I think it's the 1 year where you have big question marks going into the spring.
All right, now let's do That Is Bullcrap. Looking forward to it. Presented by Tom Line Plumbing. For service you can trust, consider Tom Line Plumbing. Great friend of Stephen McGee, longtime trusted plumber in and around the Brazos Valley. The website, tomlineplumbing.com. Stephen, what's bullcrap?
Well, for me, I got two. Kyler Murray in Arizona and his frustration with their, you know, organization. To me, this falls on Kyler Murray. I mean, you're the quarterback. The great teams win because of the quarterback. It's a quarterback-driven league. And if you watch Arizona's downfall toward the end of the year, I mean, you point at Kyler and the mistakes he made as not living up to the billing. And he points the finger. Now he wants to trade. You know, instead of owning responsibility, he's kind of got that personality anyway that you can see from a mile away on the TV camera, not very likable. And that's starting to be released and come out too. That's bullcrap in my opinion. And then the Russian Olympic figure skater that tested positive for a banned substance. And then the Olympic Committee allowing her to still compete under, like, that's never, or not going to say never, but it very rarely ever happens. And probably because of the threat and scare of Russia and the Ukraine issue right now. I don't know what caused them to allow her to compete. And then of course she didn't medal anyway, but I didn't like that. And I think that's bullcrap.
Olin,
what's bullcrap? You know, my bullcrap is that I'm hearing Houston Texans fans too often disparaging the hiring of Lovie Smith. Well, first of all, I'm going to take up for him because he's a good East Texas guy.
Right.
From Big Sandy, right there between Gladewater and Hawkins. But that guy went to the Super Bowl with Rex Grossman as his quarterback.
Mm-hmm. With one of the best defenses we'd seen in a long time.
They won at least 10 games in 4 seasons in Chicago with him, with never having a quarterback. And they made it to the NFC Championship game twice. Even when he was at Tampa Bay, his first year they were like 2-14, but the next year they were 6-10. You know, there's a reason you hire a guy because your team isn't very good. He drafted Mike Evans. He was doing good things for them. So the people that are down on Lovie Smith, I think you need to start doing a little more homework.
Well, I've done a little homework, and I'm not down on Lovie, but this is what I'll say. He went 10-33 at Illinois.
Oh, so what?
I'm just saying. And I think the reason people are down on it is because the Texans made the hire. See what I'm saying? Like, anybody they pick outside of Bill Belichick, they probably ruin him too, by the way. It doesn't matter. It's the freaking Texans. Jack Easterby's Darth Vader control over them.
Well, then be mad at that guy.
Oh, they are. They're mad at everything. In fact, they're so mad, I don't think people care about the Texans anymore.
Well,
I moved at the right time, my friend.
I'm with you, Lovie.
I love Lovie. I don't know if it's going to work out.
That's a bumper sticker right there.
Hey, by the way, my bullcrap is MLB is probably going to delay the start of opening day, whenever that's going to be with this lockout. I'm sick of lockouts and people striking. I feel like every 2-3 years now we're getting something. There was like a long stretch where we weren't getting it. Now we're getting it all the time. That's my bullcrap. Steven, thank you, sir.
Yep, you have a good one.
Can't believe you didn't know Freebird. Just kidding.
I'm pretty sure that's in either Goodfellas or Casino.
I think so too, yeah.
It's in Happy Gilmore.
It's everywhere.
It's in a lot of things. You guys should be ashamed.
You know what?
I couldn't get to the mic to help you.
Ashamed for what?
Not you, Olin, I guess. Mainly Nuño.
Not everybody I grew up with had no clue. They're all like, yeah, but
It's not
Nuño.
true.
So just say
Go to break.
All right, whatever. We'll do Schloss when we come back on the air. Thank you. Bye.
Our publications reach every corner of the Brazos Valley, and we want to partner with you in sharing your message with the community. You may recognize a few of our Bryan Broadcasting publications.
Best of the Brazos Valley.
Brazos Life, the annual manual.
Welcome home, Brazos Valley.
Brazos Family. Brazos Wellness.
Brazos Valley Bride.
Peace, Brazos Christian Life.
With the combined power of 7 magazine titles, 11 radio stations, and digital solutions, Bryan Broadcasting Publications can help you be heard. Call 979-695-9595 to learn more.
You can hear the Paul Feinbaum Show weekdays 2 to 4 here on the Zone. Presented by Polaris Fun Center. Paul Feinbaum is SEC Country, and Aggie Land is SEC Country too. Join Paul weekdays 2 to 4 here on the Zone. Polaris Fun Center sells and service Polaris ATVs, Rangers, Blazers, Global Electric Cars, Brutus, and the Polaris Slingshot. Polaris Fun Center, where they sell and service fun, not tractors. The voice of the SEC. And you can hear Paul Feinbaum weekdays 2 to 4 here on the Zone. Listen to The Zone online at RadioAggieland.com. Don't miss Louie, Chip, TexAgs, or your favorite Aggie teams as they play on The Zone. Listen online at RadioAggieland.com. This is KCNE College Station Bryan.
WTAW, I'm Chelsea Reber with a news update on the Zone. The Texas A&M System Board of Regents takes final action this afternoon to raise the price tag for new and renovated athletic facilities on the flagship campus from $205 to $235 million. Yesterday, the Regents Facilities Committee endorsed what is called the Bright Area Development Project. Athletic Director Ross Bjork says one reason for the $30 million increase was moving the Nutrition Center from the current Bright Center into the Academic Center.
We moved the Nutrition Center out of the current Bright building into the Academic Center, so it was really one-stop shopping for our student athletes. They could go get a meal, and they'll have academics. Our counseling services will be in there.
Construction of a new indoor football facility and indoor track starts in June by demolishing the current indoor track. Blinn College administrators plan to have trustees take final action next month on next year's tuition and fee schedules. The recommendation from Chief Financial Officer Richard Cervantes at this week's trustees meeting proposes Washington County students paying $2 more a credit hour and $3 more for Brazos County and other Texas students. General fees would increase $3 a credit hour. During his presentation, Cervantes expressed his concern about budgeting expenses when the national inflation rate is at a 40-year high plus 7%.
The experts are telling us that it's going to come down by the end of the fiscal year, which is when a budget year is going to start.
Cervantes says trustees are expected to vote on employee compensation in June. The proposal shared at this week's meeting included full-time employees getting a pay raise of either 1% or 4% and a minimum hourly pay rate of $15. One of three men originally indicted for an armed robbery and murder in Bryan almost 6 years ago has admitted to the robbery. Online court records no longer show a murder charge against 25-year-old Zacharias Glover of Bryan. As part of a plea agreement with the district attorney's office, Glover was sentenced to 9 years in prison for his part in the April 2016 robbery that led to the shooting death of Luis Ibarra. I'm Chelsea Reber on The Zone.
Start your sports day with Keyshawn, J. Will, and Max, powered by WC Tractor. Weekday mornings from 5 to 8 on 1150 AM and 93.7 FM. Or just tell your smart speaker to play Zone 1150. WC Tractor is your local award-winning Kubota and New Holland dealer. Call them with your questions at 1-888-8-TRACTOR. That's 1-888-8-TRACTOR. Or check them out online at WCTractor.com. Rise and shine. Weekday mornings from 5 to 8 with Keyshawn, J. Will, and Max from ESPN Radio. Powered by WC Tractor. Here on The Zone.
The flagship station for Aggie Athletics is The Zone. Whenever the Aggies are playing, you can hear them right here at 1150 and 93.7 FM. Thanks to our listeners and our Aggie broadcast sponsors, Pioneer Steel, Gulf States Toyota, Cherry Rafino with Coldwell Banker Apex Realty, and Amarillo National Bank. Here's a big gig to all these sponsors. Listen to Aggie Athletics on The Zone 1150 and 93.7 FM.
Good morning, sports fans. I'm Zach Taylor with your Aggie Sports Minute on The Zone. This Sports Minute is brought to you by Hilco Metal Roofing and Supply. Call 936-825-0500 or click HilcoSupply.com. Katie Dack and Macy Allen both went yard as the Texas A&M softball team rolled past Sam Houston State last night 13-6 in Huntsville. Emily Kennedy went the distance in the circle, allowing 3 earned runs while striking out 6. With the win, the Maroon and White improved to 6-0 on the year. Aggie women's basketball is back in action this evening as it pays a visit to Ole Miss. The two teams have met once already this year, with the Lady Rebels pulling out an 80-63 win. Coach Gary Blair was asked what his team can learn from the first meeting.
What we didn't do in the ball game was pursue the ball. Offensive rebounds. We'd come off ball screens, and then Austin was sort of waiting around in the middle like an aircraft carrier to get the rebound. What we've got to do is be able to complete ball screen in action.
Hopefully, Coach and the ladies can get it done tonight when they face Ole Miss at 8 o'clock in Oxford. Broadcast will be right here on The Zone. And 3 Aggies medaled on day 2 of the SEC Swimming and Diving Championships in Knoxville. Divers Curtis Matthews and Victor Povsner secured gold and silver, respectively. Meanwhile, swimmer Kaloyan Bratanov won bronze in the 200 IM. And that's been your Aggie Sports Minute, brought to you by Hilco Metal Roofing and Supply. On The Zone, I'm Zach Taylor.
You can listen to Aggie football, basketball, and baseball on your Amazon Dot or Echo. Step 1, say, Alexa, enable Zone 1150 skill. Step 2, anytime you want to hear fighting Texas Aggie football, Texas A&M women's basketball, or Aggie baseball, all you have to do is say, Alexa, play Zone 1150. It's that simple to listen to your favorite A&M teams that play on The Zone with your Amazon Dot or Echo. Make sure to say one time, Alexa, enable Zone 1150 skill. Then say, Alexa, play Zone 1150.
Now, I know I did grow up with rap music, but I was never a Little John guy, Richard Zane.
This is definitely not Leonard Skinner.
No. Freebird. Duh. TexAgs Radio, we are presented by David Gardner's Jewelers. We're here in the Rollo Insurance Studio. I'm David Nuño. Richard Zane is with us, and with that, we go to the BCSI hotline. We are joined by Jim Schloss, getting ready for the opening series here tomorrow. Coach, how are you, sir?
I'm doing great. Good morning, guys.
Good morning, sir. Thanks so much for joining us. Let's start things off with the pitching staff and talk about Nathan Detmer. I know he's getting that the opening day start. Tell us a little bit about what you've seen from him this spring.
Yeah, Nathan's thrown really well. He, he had a pretty good season last year. Got some starts. We had the big game against Texas, and then I think he finished the season pitching in the weekend rotation, and then went out in summer baseball. Did really well. Came back to us in the fall. Was kind of out of gas. We eventually just shut him down about halfway through. I had kind of seen enough, and wanted to give him a chance to kind of regroup, and I think that's really helped him. And then he came back this winter in January, and Jeremy McMillan, our strength coach, has just done a really good job with him. He's up to almost 220 pounds, big physical guy. So he's thrown well. His velocity is a little, it's a little bit higher, I think, than it was last year. The key for him is going to just be, maintaining that as a Friday night starter. Not too deep into a game to start the season, but hopefully, for 3 to 4 to 5 innings. And he's always had a really good changeup, and I think Coach Yeski's helped him find a better breaking pitch. And in order for him to be successful, in that role for us, and certainly in the SEC play, he's going to have to be able to throw all three of those pitches. But he's the best we have at this point, and looking forward to seeing him out there tomorrow night.
Coach, Richard Zane here, and up until about a couple weeks ago, I think everybody following the program kind of expected Micah Dallas to be the Friday night guy. Now he shifts to Saturday. So how do you feel about having him in that role and the possibility of taking both Friday and Saturday in these early season series?
I'd like to take Friday and Saturday in all the series. but no, Micah can pitch in any role. I've had a front row seat to his career being at TCU while he was at Texas Tech. So I've seen him pitch out of the bullpen great. I've seen him pitch really well as a starter. My kind of philosophy is, if you have the personnel to do it, right, is you like the guy that pitches on Saturday, preferably, would be a guy that can go really deep in games. Because, if you think about it, college baseball is played on Tuesdays, Fridays, Saturday, and Sunday. So on Friday night, you should have a pretty rested bullpen. And if you can you have those guys available pretty much at any time. And then on Saturday, if you have a guy that can throws a lot of strikes, maybe gets a lot of contact, doesn't pitch deep into counts, then he can maybe give you a little bit more length, and maybe one or two of those bullpen arms that you use on Friday kind of gets a day off, and then on Sunday, everybody's ready to pitch. So that's kind of the thought process. I think Micah, when he doesn't try to be Nathan Detmer, in other words, throw harder but just sink the baseball and throw it. He's got a really good breaking ball and changeup. Then he can get some outs early in counts and hopefully pitch a little bit deeper in the games over the course of the year. All these guys are going to be. We're going to keep a tight rope on them. They're not going to get much beyond 75 or 90 pitches, but that's kind of the thought process with Mike in the middle game.
Let's talk about Ryan Prager, the very talented freshman. What can the Aggie fans expect out of him this year?
Yeah, just your classic poised, even as a freshman, poised lefty, going to throw 3 or 4 pitches for strikes. It's his first college game, and I'm sure his adrenaline's going to be pumped up, but I think who knows what the first game's going to be like. But I think over the course of his career, he's just going to be that classic left-hander that's got a good arm. He'll run pitches up to 92, but he's not going to overpower you with fastball. He's going to be able to mix off, 3 to 4 pitches, and just when you think you're getting a breaking ball, he's going to throw you a fastball, and when you're sitting on that fastball, he's going to throw you a changeup. I mean, he's just got a really good feel for what he's doing. Super intelligent, valedictorian of his senior class last year, and he's going to be we just got to keep that guy healthy. he's going to do nothing but get better over the course of his career in Aggieland.
Beyond those three guys, who are some names that fans can expect to be coming in out of the bullpen consistently throughout the year? And then, of course, guys who might see some starts on Tuesday nights.
Yeah, I think from the left side, Jacob Palish certainly going to be from Stanford, grad transfer from Stanford's going to play a big role. I mean, he could start if we needed him to, but I prefer to keep him where he is, be available, a couple times a week. Of course, Joseph Menifee's been here for a couple years and very reliable strike thrower, really good athlete, really good fielder of his position. Will Johnson is a guy that we have a lot of hope for. He's got to throw more strikes, and if he does that, he's got a really good breaking pitch, and he can do some things. So those would be the left-handers. Right-handed, we have a freshman named Brad Rudis I really like. He's a strike-throwing machine, and that's always the number one quality of any pitcher, but especially a reliever. Freshman named Cortez got a really good arm. A transfer named Hogan's got a really good arm, really good breaking ball. I would say those would be the 5 to 6 most trusted guys. I'm sure. Alex Meggers has a kind of throws from a different arm slot, so he's going to be a good situational guy. So, I think all those guys have the skill level to help us, have a good season. They just don't have much experience other than Menifee and Meggers a little bit. Well, certainly Palish as a transfer from Stanford. So we'll really lean on those older guys first, more than likely, and then try and ease those freshmen into it, and new players. But we may not have that luxury depending on the score. So we'll just throw the best guy out there and throw him in the fire.
Jim, since you've gotten here, I mean, you see these guys all the time, but for fans, this is kind of like a introduction to a lot of these new players. Dylan Rock, another guy coming in with a lot of hopes. Tell us a little bit about Dylan.
Super physical player. He looks like he could walk across the street and play for Coach Fisher on Kyle Field. But he's a very cerebral guy, sometimes to a fault. Can play all three outfields. Not a burner as a runner, but a really good athlete. Can go first to third, can score from first base on a double. Has some power. I think he'll hit the ball out of the ballpark some, but normally pretty good strike zone discipline, right? And so that's a super big key for me. And it sounds very, very simple, and it's easy to say and hard to do. But our primary focus with these position players has been you got to get on base, man. Unless you play for the Savannah Bananas, you don't get to steal first base, right? So you got to know the difference between balls and strikes, and swing at the strikes and take the balls. And if you look at Rock's career, even at UTSA, and normally, he's going to step up the competition in this conference. But normally guys that know the strike zone, they know the strike zone. And so he's a guy that probably hits somewhere near the top of the order because he's got a chance to do two things. One, get on base, or two, he can punch you in the mouth, with an extra base hit, early in the lineup, early in the game, and kind of get your offense going. So we're we're blessed to have him.
Love the Savannah Banana shout out there, Coach. Another one of those guys that's transferred in is Cole Kaler. We got to talk to him for the first time on Tuesday out at the press conference. Seems like a guy who's really excited to be here, of course, coming over from Hawaii. How did that recruitment process play out, and what does he give you on the diamond and also in the locker room as one of those more experienced guys?
Well, the recruitment process was basically, when I took the job, Kalai Harrison was one of the few kind of sure things in terms of, we have a shortstop. We have a guy we feel great about. But the guys that played, third base and second base last year were gone. I think it was, one of the Colemans, Blom, those guys, they were gone. And so if Kalai, number one, we needed infielders, and number two, we needed somebody that we knew could have some experience at shortstop in case something happened to Kalai, right? And so Cole, within like the first 48 hours of me saying, coming down here, it was just me and Jason Hutchins working because hadn't hired any other coaches, and we immediately just started recruiting him. Saw him in the transfer portal. his coach at Hawaii has been a long time friend of mine, and had great things to say about him. And then we had him on a visit, and he's great. So, his experience, he's got some. You'll see he's got a little swagger. He plays with a lot of confidence, plays level-headed. Probably going to start the season at second base, but he can play any one of those three infield spots: third, short, or second. Switch hitter. Another good guy, has good concept of the strike zone. So good base runner, not an elite runner, but a solid runner, but just experience. And he's very, very, very happy to be here. He's talking about a guy who went to South Mountain Junior College, where you don't have much, and then went to Hawaii, and now he's one of those guys. He walks in the locker room every day, just like I do, and just feels so blessed and honored to be here.
Talking to Jim Schlossnagle here on TexAgs Radio, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers. Coach, we got a question from the audience, I should say, with our chat board, and it says, who calls the pitches during the game? Does Coach signal them into the catcher?
So we have now the last couple of years. This is my first year dealing with it because it wasn't in the Big 12, but now it's been in the SEC where they have the headset, kind of like in football, where you can call the catcher wears an earpiece, and the pitching coach can talk to the catcher. So Nate Yeske will call the pitches into the catcher, and then the catcher relays them to the pitcher. But the pitcher always has right of last refusal, right? So if Nate calls a fastball, but Nathan Detmer has confidence at that moment in his changeup or his breaking ball, then we always encourage the pitcher to throw the pitch that he has 100% confidence in the moment versus the pitch we call that they might have 50% confidence in. So, but to answer the question, yeah, Nate Yeske calls the pitch.
Hey, I also want to ask you about this weekend's atmosphere, right? We've been talking about it since, middle of June of this new regime starting, and we get to see a real game this weekend. What are you expecting there on Friday and the whole weekend, really?
Yeah. It's college baseball attendance to me is primarily based on three things, right? One, weather. Two, how good is your team, right? A winning team, a successful team, a team that people want to come watch play. And then the third thing would be who you're playing. The opponent always has a role in it. And then all the other stuff, and I know it's gotten some publicity, all the other stuff that we've either, continuing or maybe making a little tweak to, is just to supplement that, is to have to help the fans that are there have a great experience, whether it be the fan that is going to be there regardless and is keeping score and is locked into every pitch, or whether it be the family of four that's just there for 4 or 5 innings. We want it to be a great experience for everybody. And so I think, I'm certainly not changing any traditions. There's still going to be the riflemen. There's still going to be the war hymn and sawing them off and bubbles. We're going to add to the bubbles. But we're also going to add some, we're going to add some things. I think you're going to see some neat things during the national anthem tomorrow. We're going to try and liven the music up a little bit. There isn't going to be a DJ. It's just going to be, someone playing some music that creates a little bit more energy in the ballpark. And I think that, again, the primary driver to atmosphere is having a good team. So, that's my focus 100%. All that other stuff is stuff that's been talked about months and weeks ahead of time. I think we are going to hand out some 12-man towels tomorrow night. There'll be 2,000 or 3,000 of those laying out there. But at the end of the day, the 12th man and our fans is what makes the atmosphere. We'll have Section 12 in right field, which is going to be all primarily student section. Students will be back in section, the other sections of the stadium that were in play before COVID. So I'm hoping for a great crowd, not just tomorrow night, but throughout the course of the weekend. I think it's going to be a little chilly tomorrow night, not too bad, but Saturday and Sunday are going to be gorgeous. So hope we can get everybody out to support these kids.
Coach, I know when we talked to you on Tuesday, you said you were really excited to get things going. Obviously, that was a couple days ago. Now that opening day is just 1 day away, and you're going to coach your first game as a head coach at Texas A&M, where's your head at now? Is it continuing to build, and what kind of emotions have you been feeling throughout the week as it finally gets closer?
Yeah, I'm just ready to go. Just ready to go. I feel like, when I was a kid, I used to sleep in my uniform before I played a little league game. So I feel the same way. I wake up at 2:30 in the morning, making sure, like, holy cow, have we done rundowns enough? Have we done this enough? But the season is it's a constantly evolving thing, right? And so the games, not just this weekend, but over the course of the year, will tell us what we need to get better at, or where we're good. And I'm just ready to get it going. Baseball is about routine, and I'm ready to get in that routine of Friday, Saturday, Sunday with team meal, then BP, then infield, outfield, the game, and just that routine that I've been used to for 31 years, and doing it here. And I'm to be real honest with you, I can't wait to see what the fans are like. As for me personally, not cheering for me, but I'm just talking about being in a maroon uniform, experiencing Bluebell Park as the coach at A&M versus doing it in the other dugout. That's one of the primary reasons I came here, is to be a part of that atmosphere. And no disrespect to anywhere else, but this is just as big time as you can get in college baseball at Texas A&M, and I'm really, really honored and humbled to actually be a part of it. So just ready to get going.
Jim, last thing for you. I know you touched upon it the other day, but for our audience, talk about the significance of giving Troy Clounce that number 12, what it means to this program and to the future of this program.
Yeah, since I've been here, it's been something that's been on my mind. I just feel like when you look around, and we're going to add I don't think, in Kyle Field there in the student section, it says the 12th man on the side of the stadium, and we're going to add that. I think we can maybe do a better job of honoring that within our own ballpark. And I just feel like, just like in football, hey man, if you get that number 12, that's a big deal, and that's way bigger than any one person. And so I've been thinking about it for a while, how to do that. And so we just decided, and there's plenty of guys on our team that could be wearing that, but Troy, since he's been here, has really stood out as a guy that, just everything about him is about the core values of the university: respect, excellence, leadership, loyalty, integrity, and selfless service. So we're going to give that to him this year. It may not be something we award every year, but I anticipate, I get to coach such great kids. There's always going to be somebody that deserves that right, and I can tell you Troy's very humble to do it, and we're excited for him.
Well, I know you talked about you're looking forward to the excitement level tomorrow and the entire season, but I can tell you that TexAgs and all of our listeners, we're all pumped about it. We're so happy that you're going to be leading this team here in the future, and it starts all tomorrow, sir. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me. Everybody, it's going to be a roller coaster. Hang with us, but we'll do everything we can to make everybody proud.
We know that, sir. Thank you very much. Have a great day.
Thanks, Coach.
All right. See you guys. Gig 'em.
Gig 'em. Jim Schlossnagle here on the BCSI hotline. Richard, stick around for one more segment. We'll talk some baseball with you because I got some thoughts for you. And a little rumor has it you might be part of the Go Hour tomorrow. So just saying, no, is it tomorrow?
Oh yeah, no, yeah.
Yeah, you gave me a look like I'm wrong.
You're throwing days around at me. I'm just trying to remember, but yeah, I think so.
No, if not, that's fine.
It's all good.
That's fine.
We'll let you know.
Olin's got to go to Vegas. Oh gosh! Right now, talk about my buddy Chance McClain, Heritage Films. Hopefully, you guys got to listen to our chat yesterday. It wasn't an infomercial. It was legitimately a chat about just life and radio, and his relationship with Luch, and how he models some of what he's done at other stops through TexAgs. It was a great talk, but really, he's just. Again, to illustrate the point, the most creative guy I know. I got a couple friends in my life that have really gotten the best out of my career, and he is the guy who really got things started. But now he's turned directions in his career, and he's telling people stories. He's a storyteller, and he'll tell your story, your dad's story, your uncle's story, your boss's story, whoever's important to you, or maybe it's just something you want to leave for your kids. Hey, here's our family origin story, like X-Men, the origin story. Well, how about that? Have it done for you, and that's what Chance McClain does there with Heritage Films. He'll come light your house up wherever he does the interview. Got the crew coming in, and he'll do this Netflix-style documentary that you're going to love forever and ever, and it'll pass it down generation to generation. Check out yourheritagefilm.com, yourheritagefilm.com, 713-893-8341, 713-893-8341.
I'm Chelsea Reber with your community calendar on the zone, brought to you by Christine Engler at AggieLoanExpert.com. There's never been a better time for a cash-out refinance. NMLS 1309378 Equal Housing Opportunity. Stage Center Theater invites you to laugh along at Jeeves Takes a Bow. Performances run through Saturday. Tickets are available at stagecenter.net. Brazos Valley Friends of NRA invite you to their Supporter Appreciation Breakfast this Saturday at American Legion Post 159. The free pancake and sausage breakfast starts at 8. The VOOM Heart and Soul 5K is this Saturday at Texas A&M. This event will help raise funds to bring life-saving procedures to those in need in West Africa. Register at voomfoundation.org. This month, Aggies can reduce their library fines by donating non-perishable food items. Find out more about the Food for Fines program at the library Ask Us desks on campus. That's your community calendar, brought to you by Christine Engler at AggieLoanExpert.com. I'm Chelsea Reber on the Zone.
Since 1957, Slovacek Sausage in Snook has been making the best tasting sausage in Texas from the same family recipe. Slovacek is the official sausage of Texas A&M Athletics. Whether it's from the grill to the family gathering or from the pit to the neighborhood party, serve the sausage voted best in the Brazos Valley. Serve Slovacek. Be sure to come in and check out their full-service meat market, relax on the front porch, or grab some fresh kolaches from their bakery on your way out. Slovacek Sausage, Highway 60 in Snook.
Voting is serious business, and I want to discuss some serious business about voting for me, Gabriel Garcia. I'm running for re-election as your Brazos County District Clerk, and I've made a number of changes since assuming the job, including improved court processes, transitioning the office to paperless, improved supervision of deputy clerks, better communication with court coordinators, and all Brazos County departments. I have a proven record of success as your Brazos County District Clerk. Re-elect me, Gabriel Garcia.
Paid for by Gabriel Garcia Campaign, Pet Septic Treasurer.
This is your Wendy's wake-up call. Start your day with a better breakfast and get a free drink with any of our morning-making breakfast sandwiches. That's your favorite drink in a Wendy's cup, free. Fresh brewed coffee, free. Diet Coke, free. Vanilla Frosty-Chino, that's cold brew plus Frosty Creamer plus free. So don't sleep on this deal. Get any size drink in a Wendy's cup free when you buy any breakfast sandwich. Choose wisely. Choose Wendy's.
Limited time only at participating Wendy's. On the card only. Offer valid upon request on lowest price qualifying item. Not valid for third-party delivery. Excludes prepackaged beverages.
Would you like to win a pair of tickets to see Journey in concert? It's Rodeo Monday on the Louis Bellina Show, thanks to Catalina Hatters and Texas Rose Boutique. Every Monday, listen for me to play a Journey song. When you hear the music play, open arms, don't stop believing. When you hear Journey play on the Louis Bellina Show, be caller number 11, and you win a pair of tickets to see Journey at the Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo. It's every Monday on the Louis Bellina Show, Rodeo Monday, thanks to Texas Rose Boutique and Catalina Hatters.
I should have called this the basketball hour, baseball hour, because we're doing so much baseball. JB Moss is going to be joining us here in a moment. Richard Zane with us. It's TexAgs Radio, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers here in the Rollo Insurance Studio. Appreciate everybody watching on YouTube and on the TexAgs chat. It was a great question there from CatAg earlier to ask. I didn't know, he didn't know, I didn't know about the rule in the SEC where they could have an earpiece.
Yeah.
I know a lot of you're always there, but
that changed a couple years ago.
Okay,
and I noticed that was one of the things I noticed when we were out there this week. I actually noticed the earpiece, and I asked Broninger because he goes out there a lot more often than I do to just confirm that that was the system they're using as opposed to traditional hand signals from the dugout.
Richard, I know you're a big baseball guy. We've all been super excited about Schloss just because of the Jimbo comparisons and what he brings and his energy, and just sometimes you just need to change of direction. Rob did a great job, but it was time for a change. What are you most excited about heading into opening day?
First of all, opening day is one of my favorite days of the year, whether it be college baseball or when the Dodgers get started in the end of March at the beginning of April. I love it. It tells you, each season you have a chance. Everybody's 0-0, and you've got a chance to make your dreams come true. So the excitement and the electricity around the ballpark, even as a media member, as a student, it's all really exciting. And as far as this particular team, I'm excited to see Nathan Detmer take a jump up. Obviously, we talk about the greatness he has shown on display and the flashes he's had, thinking about that 7-inning shutout performance against what was the 5th-ranked Texas Longhorns at Olsen Field last year. That really, hopefully that's just a glimpse of what he's capable of, and he can start to do it more consistently. So I'm excited to see what kind of step he takes this year. And then It's hard not to be excited about Jim Schlossnagle being the head coach of this program and the direction and the vision he has for it. I won't lie, and I'll say it's still extremely surreal that guy, the guy who pained me as a student, is going to be leading the program, but I couldn't be more excited about it, and he has been just wonderful with all of us since taking the job.
Yeah, I'm sure you laughed during the interview, or if you caught it, but you can tell that I've covered Major League Baseball, not college baseball, by some of the words I use, like this spring. We're still in the freaking winter, right? It's still technically winter.
I guess, yeah, technically. What defines spring and winter?
I don't know, but
I'm
like
not a science
they
guy
started
or understand how the calendar works. So someone please help me out.
They started in January. It's
Yeah.
the winter. Like, hey, well, have you seen this spring, dude? No, it's not the spring. And technically, when spring training starts in baseball, it's in it.
Yeah,
Winter-ish.
pitchers and catchers were supposed to report this week, so it's
Yeah.
still technically winter. It can be cold.
If I were still working in news, I'd be heading over to
Fort Myers.
No, they're not in
No,
Fort
they're not
Myers.
Fort
They're in what's the town? It's right by God, what's it called? It'll hit me in a second, but not Kissimmee. God, where are they now?
Who's in Fort Myers?
I don't know, but I would be there right now, getting ready or about to head out there. It was always a good time to go out there. It's right by Jupiter Beach, whatever that area is called. That's where they're at. Someone's going to text me like, how can you not remember? Last thing for you, Zane, before we move on. Remind me what the feeling was around this program last year at this point. Obviously, it ended up being the end of the Rob Childress era. But
West Palm Beach.
West Palm Beach. Thank you. West Palm Beach. I don't know why I couldn't think of the name. But what was the feeling like now, the day before opening day? Like, was it were we thinking he's got to have a great year, or were we thinking, like, kind of bring me back to that?
Yeah, we definitely thought that Coach Childress was going to have a magical run to keep his job and somehow get an extension. And we didn't really know what to expect out of that team because it was the COVID year, right? Everybody was back. And they had lost their three best players in Asa Lacey and then Christian Roa, and they had also lost Zach DeLoach, high-round draft picks. So we didn't know what to expect on the mound. They brought back Bryce Miller. They brought back Dustin Signs, guys like that who had been here but had never been superstars, never had a real frontline ace. But we didn't know what to expect out of Will Frizzell. We didn't know he was going to be an All-American because he had missed the entire season before with knee issues. So that was really exciting to see out of him. But yeah, I won't say it was uneasy because Coach Childress had always been awesome to deal with and had been great here for so long. But it was very much an unknown of what are they going to actually look like. But at the same time, we didn't expect them to be great. We expected them to kind of make the tournament, but didn't expect them to be 29 and 27, whatever they ended up being last year. It was not a great year, obviously.
Thank you, Richard. We'll have you tomorrow on the Go Hour and also our baseball roundtable that starts tomorrow.
Ooh, fun.
Exciting.
2 hours of me? That seems like too much.
It
is
I'm
too
going
much.
to reconsider that whole thing.
You might get a call from Billy.
Oh, and a text message. Scott Glendening going to be with us, and, of course, Bronny as well. Right now, I want to tell you guys about David Gardner's engagement ring event that's going to be happening next week, February 23rd through the 26th. Take a tour of their design studio and workshop, see what happens behind the scenes, and find out how you can be involved in the making of your ring. Shop their largest selection at the best prices of the year, or with extended financing, you can enter a chance to win $1,000 back on your engagement ring purchases. While they have an extended merchandise selection, stop by to try on rings and see what you'll like and fill out a wish list for a chance to win a $500 gift certificate to David Gardner's. It's going to be awesome. You're going to go check it out. When we come back, JB Moss.
Did you text the show a snarky remark? He'll bark back. It's David Nuño on TexAgs Radio. Weekdays on the Zone.
Does the insulated glass in your windows refuse to come clean no matter how hard you work? If so, the glass unit has probably lost its seal. You might notice moisture between the panes, a hazy look, shadows, or even the growth of some white mold. If so, it's time to call your friends at Intercon. Not only are these conditions unattractive, but you no longer have an insulated barrier in your windows. There are a number of options available to you to remedy lost seals. Most options allow you to retain your existing window frame and just replace the bad glass with a new sealed unit. Clear insulated glass offers an insulating pocket, but no protection against solar heat gain. Low E insulated glass adds a coating between the sheets of glass. The coating blocks about 80% of the solar heat gain, as well as the damaging UV rays of the sun. Another option is to trade out the entire window frame with a premium vinyl window. Since Intercon does both glass and windows, we can offer you a full complement of options. Call Intercon and get a free quote from a locally owned and managed business.
Whether you have new construction or an existing home, let the fine folks from Intercon help you keep your home energy efficient year-round. Call Brad Beard of Intercon today at 823-3639. That's 823-3639.
Shop local, buy local, save big deals.
Hi, it's Jenny from your local Big Deal